In this episode, I talk about why you don't want to win the lottery. Get excited because this is Tiny Leaps, Big Changes. Welcome to another episode of Tiny Leaps, Big Changes, where I share simple strategies you can use to get more out of your life. My name is Gregg Clunis, and in today's episode, I want to talk about the lottery. It's something that I grew up around. My dad played the lottery pretty much every week, and there was always sort of the back of his mind like this hope of, one day I'm going to win, and one day it's going to bring in all this money and solve all of our problems. And that is why so many people around the world and around the country end up playing the lottery, because there's this hope, right? There's this, as slim as it might be, there's this chance that, hey, you just might win. But today I want to talk about why you don't want to win, why even if you could, you should not want to win the lottery. And I'm hoping that by the end of this episode, listen, I don't care if you buy lottery tickets. If you want to play the game, go for it. That's completely up to you. But I'm hoping that by the end of this episode, you will at least recognize that winning might not be the best thing to happen, and that there are benefits to going the traditional route to get your money. So with that said, if you have not already, be sure to click subscribe wherever you're consuming this. If you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, wherever you listen to your podcast, be sure to click subscribe. Or if you're on YouTube, be sure to click subscribe there as well. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so I appreciate all of you that are willing to click that subscribe button and click the bell. If you're listening to this and you're not yet subscribed to the podcast on YouTube, head over to youtube.com/Gregg Clunis and click subscribe there. And quick merch shout out before I jump into the episode. So this is not my merch. If you are listening to this episode, I'm just going to describe. So I'm wearing a cap right now. It says, "Don't fail forward, fuck up." And I think it's the coolest thing in the world. I got it from a friend of mine named Ross Everett. He's the founder of Stopping the Unstoppable, a one-man show out in California that basically just makes fun of the personal development industry. So if that sounds like your thing, head over to stopstoppingtheunstoppable.com. Check him out. I think he's pretty dope. And I actually have him as a guest in an upcoming episode, so keep an eye out for that one. Okay, so why should you not want to win the lottery? Well, reason number one is that you won't have the skills required to earn that sum of money. Now, I know that almost doesn't matter, right? Why do I care? I don't need the skills. I have the money, right? But hear me out. The reason it matters that you don't have the skills is because it means that if you ever lose it, if the money gets devalued, if you make some bad investments, if you do the wrong things with it, you won't be able to get back to that place. You see, a big part of what makes money valuable isn't actually the money, it's your ability to make it. Because okay, I've gotten to this point. I could get there again if I have to. I could make this happen again if I have to, because I did it once. I was able to figure it out. I was able to develop the habits, the routines, the systems, learn the skills, meet the people in order to get to this place once. And so therefore, if everything goes under, if the economy crashes, if I find myself ruined one day, I should be all right. I should be able to get back to that point, if not close. And that's a valuable skill. Truly, security doesn't come in the money. It comes in the ability to make the money. You get a paycheck from work, and that's awesome. But the security isn't in that paycheck. If you got fired the day after you got your paycheck, you are no longer secure. The security is in the ability to go to work in order to receive the paycheck. It's not the paycheck itself. And the only way you're able to go to work in order to receive the paycheck is if you have the skills required to do it. No one's going to hire you as an engineer if you don't have engineering skills. No one's going to hire you as a designer if you don't have design skills. So you need the skills in order to earn that amount of money. And one of the big issues with winning the lottery is that it just falls into your lap. You never gained any skill set required to earn that. You never met the people, made the connections, started the company, took the like you didn't go through that journey. And because of that, again, you've got the money, and that's great. And for so many of us, myself included, just having the money would change our lives. Could be amazing to not be in the amount of student loan debt that I am. But there is a benefit to earning the skills required to make that money, more so than actually having the money, so that if something goes wrong, you can get yourself back to that place. That's reason number one. Reason number two is similar, but a little bit different. And this is actually the thing that sparked this episode for me, because not only do you need the skills to earn that amount of money, you also need the skills to keep it. You see, a big part of why rich people stay rich is because they know how to play the game. And money truly is a game in a lot of ways. They know how to play the game, and money is a game. And they know how to play the game because they got there in the first place, or because there are a lot of people that inherited their money, right? But if they inherited their money, they likely were taught how to play the game. They came from a different world than you and I did. Those of us who are coming up from the bottom with absolutely nothing as far as cash goes, like we're not inheriting money, we're not inheriting a business, we're not getting a small loan of $1 million. Not trying to get political, excuse me, but we're not like being supported financially, who aren't being taught how to play the game. We need to learn those skills on the way up. We need to gain that experience on the way up. That's how we get there, and then are able to keep the money. Because just having the money, again, that is not that valuable. Yes, you can win $3 million, $10 million, $300 million. You can win a lot of money through the lottery, but in a couple of years, that money is going to get spent. But if you don't know where to invest it, you don't know how to invest it, you don't know that you need a financial planner, you don't know how to divvy up the money so that you're paying less in tax. Like if you don't know those things because you've never had to sort of go through it yourself, then eventually you're going to lose the money. And there's this great quote, and I'm going to butcher it. But the basic idea is that if you give you give money to someone who has money and you give money to someone who doesn't have money, the person with money will always end up with the person without money's money. It's a little more confusing. Just look up the quote. It's a really great one. But the idea is that people who have money will always get the money because they know how to make the money. They know how to keep the money. The person who receives money, who does not have that skills, ends up losing it and giving it to the person who already has money. Like that is how the system works. And it works that way largely because of knowledge and experience and skills. And so if you just show up one day and you've won the lottery and you've got a couple $100 million, give it 10, 15, 20 years, you might not have that money anymore. So that's reason number two. And then finally, reason number three, why you do not want to win the lottery, is that you won't change as a person. And I know, again, does that really matter? You know, if I am in debt, if I am drowning in credit card debt, in my mortgage payments, in my car loan, in student loan debt, if I'm drowning, does it matter whether or not I change as a person if it means that this money can help me? And the short answer is yes and no. In the immediate, winning the lottery will help you get out of that debt. But if you have not changed as a person on that journey, you're probably going to end up right back in debt. You're going to lose the money and you're not going to be able to make it again. Going back to reason number two and reason number one. So a big part of getting rich is not actually about being rich and having money in the bank. It's actually about the journey of getting rich. It's about learning the skills. It's about meeting the people. It's about making the decisions. It's about increasing your risk tolerance. It's about better understanding how to navigate the marketplace and the world and so on and so forth. Like there is a journey required to get to that end goal, and the journey's job, and I'm going to do a separate episode on this about goal setting in general, but the journey's job is to mold you into the type of person who can make that kind of money and who can keep that kind of money. Because newsflash, you are not currently able to. I'm currently not able to. If we were, then we would be doing it. But there is a version of us that could exist that is capable of it. And the only way we become that version is by taking the journey. So those are my 3 reasons. 3 reasons why you do not want to win the lottery, why it is a bad idea, and you should probably stop playing, but do whatever you want. Reason number 1, you will not have gained the skills required to earn it. Reason number 2, you will not have gained the skills required to keep it. And reason number 3, you will not have changed as a person and gone on that journey required to get there in the first place. And so what do you do instead? If the goal is no longer, let's win the lottery, bring in a lot of money, pay off my debt, buy the car, buy the helicopter, so on and so forth, right? If that is no longer the goal, what is it that we should do? Well, my advice, and this is what I'm trying to do for myself, is to embrace the journey. Like I said, the journey's job is to mold you into the type of person required in order to accomplish your goal. It doesn't actually even matter if it's financial or not. The journey's job is to mold you into the type of person required to accomplish your goal. And so if you can embrace that journey, no matter how sucky it might be right now, if you can embrace that journey, embrace the grind, embrace the pain, embrace the hustle, embrace the sacrifice, and do the work, show up and make things happen, maybe you'll never have 300 million. Maybe you'll never have 700 million. Maybe you'll never have 900 million. But you will move forward in your life. You will make progress on whatever goals you might have. You will start to pay down that debt. You will start to get your finances under control, and you'll become the type of person who is able to aim for those heights. And that, my friends, is the only way that it becomes sustainable to have a lot of money, make a lot of money, and to accomplish your goals. And so with that said, as always, I've been Gregg Clunis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Listen, if you have not subscribed yet, be sure to click the subscribe button. If you're on YouTube right now, click subscribe. We are in a race to 1,000 subscribers, and every single subscription counts. I love you so much. Please, please, please click subscribe. Drop a comment below once you do subscribe. I'd love to thank you personally. If you're listening on the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, 2 steps. 1, click subscribe wherever you're listening to it. And then 2, when you're not driving, when you're not working out, when you're not doing whatever it is you're doing right now, head over to youtube.com/Gregg Clunis and click subscribe there as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here, spending some time with me. Be sure to check back in for future episodes coming out every Tuesday and Thursday right now. And with that said, remember that all big changes come from the tiny leaps you take every day.